especially in a deck like Merfolk. But he mentioned that, you know, in kind of the grindy matchups, Aether Vial is really not that good. And with people playing a lot of black cards like Herm de Torok, Aether Vial is really bad against those types of decks. So, and obviously he's had success with it in the past. So
yeah, top 8 in Knoxville. This list has no Aether Vials, has Chalice instead, also no Wastelands. The mana base is 13 islands, 4 Cabinet Souls, 4 Muta Vaults, and a Mishra's Factory. So, you know, these are cognizant decisions by Jonathan to play these cards. He's had success with it in the past, again, top 8ing in Knoxville, and with a win here, he'll be top 8ing in Indianapolis. As we are underway in game number 1, Herzog is going to sacrifice that Verdant Catacombs, go get himself a Savannah. We'll see what he wants to play on the first turn of the game. And it will be a Deathrite Shaman to get things started. Not sure actually who this match favors.
yeah, I mean, I kind of was leaning more towards Herzog just because I think his creature quality is a little better, and he also does have access to Stoneforge Mystic. Obviously, Green Sun Zenith could be pretty good too. It can get a Nether Reliquary or a Gaddock Teague or a Scavenging Ooze. Kozali Pride Mage is also probably pretty good here. But yeah, in general, I'd have to say, I'm not sure. It's basically, I think, a toss-up. But in creature, I think Merfolk's generally favored against other blue-based decks. When you have to play against actual creature-based strategies, I'm not so sure how good it is.
Curse Catcher gonna start things off here for Aiken. You know, the one thing that Merfolk can do is kind of play the pack rat mentality, just get a bunch of lords in play and attack with basically very, very large creatures, much in the same vein as pack rat in standard.
Yeah, not only that, but he also does have access to True Name Nemesis. That card can obviously give Maverick fits. Thomas Herzog has been in the feature match area now 3 times, and now this is the 3rd player that he's playing against that has True Name Nemesis in their deck, and currently he is 0-1-1 against those decks. So we'll see how this one plays out for him. Maybe he'll have better luck.
See if he can overcome. Going to have a turn 2 Knight of the Reliquary. A little bit of a non-bow there when you've got Knight and Deathrite Shaman in play, but those cards are so powerful individually that they're probably worth having in the same deck, as True Nemesis is going to be revealed to Silvergill Adept. That'll allow Aiken to draw a card. Curse Catcher, the bluff attack, not going to come in.
So Herzog here, I think he doesn't have the Swords to Plowshare. I mean, he does have a Swords to Plowshare. He doesn't have a Stoneforge Mystic. And like you said, the Knight of Reliquary doesn't work that well with Deathrite Shaman. So right now it's just a 2-2. But obviously that couldn't get bigger really quickly. Aiken really can't attack just yet, although he did reveal that True Name Nemesis. So he's a little bit far off from actually attacking Thomas. And the thing about True Name Nemesis is, while it can be powerful, Maverick really is afraid of True Name Nemesis plus equipment. True Name on its own, even with the Lord, is okay, but it's really the equipment that is problematic for Maverick.
Thalia going to show up to the table here, at least attempt to. See if Aiken maybe has a counterspell to take care of this. Again, his counterspells, he does have 4 copies of Force of Will, and then actually one of the card counterspell. Oftentimes in Merfolk, you'll see Daze. That's not here as well. So again, a very different build of Merfolk that he has had success with in the past. Force of Will was the draw here for Aiken. He's going to tap 2. Let's make it 3. Got to imagine it's going to be True Name, and it is. That's going to hit the table here. Going to choose Herzog, and just going to simply pass the turn back as there are no good attacks available for Jonathan. See if there's going to be another Reliquary activation here on the end step or not. Looks like there's going to be.
Tom does have Gaia's Cradle on his deck. That is something that can generate a lot of mana.
Saw that
right
one
now.
of the matches already.
Yeah.
When he brought that out.
And he also could search for Horizon Canopy if he wants to try to draw cards or try to cycle. But yeah, not many powerful options. It looks like he's just going to get a Verdant Catacomb to try to grow that Knight of Reliquary.
It's kind of a non-bow with Deathrite and Knight, but it's also like kind of a combo too, because now you're feeding the Deathrite Shaman the entire time to generate mana. So, I mean, they work together-ish,
yeah,
I would say.
And right now, and again, he doesn't really have to use the Deathrite's remove a land ability anymore. I mean, he could just be like, all right, I have a 5/5. That can raise the True Name Nemesis on its own. Obviously, he can't attack right now because True Name is on defense. But either way, Jonathan could be in an awkward position where he has to actually hold the True Name Nemesis back for defense. That'll allow Thomas to continue to develop his board. He does have cards like Sword and Fire Ice in his deck that allow him to attack through blue creatures. So we'll see if Thomas can kind of mount an assault here. Right now, True Name Nemesis is proving to be a very effective roadblock right here.
The one thing that Herzog's deck does not have, and you do see this in some versions of Maverick, is the Thespian Sage Dark Depths combo.
Yes.
To search for. He does not have access to that combo in his deck. So he's going without that. He's gone without that before. You saw him play Horizon Canopy, sacrifice that to draw a card. See how he wants to follow up here.
Another card he doesn't have that some Maverick lists that Shroud has mentioned was Script Ranger. Script Ranger, pro blue, also allows you to untap your creatures, kind of do some good shenanigans with Mother of Runes, Deathrite Shaman, etc. And so that card actually obviously would be very good in this particular matchup. But right now, Thomas is content with just developing his board. grinding out some of his lands out of his deck with Knight of the Reliquary, trying to get some sort of advantage that way.
Wasali Pridemane shows up here for Herzog. Aiken gonna untap. He'll take a draw, see if he's got anything sweet to do on this turn. 1 mana. Uh-oh, Cozy's Trickster gonna show up.
That Trickster. You better read it, yeah.
This one involves some shuffling, that's for sure.
And it is a merfolk, so it's actually a cute little one-drop. Greg Hatch, former Las Vegas Invitationalist, he actually loves Cozy's Trickster.
Maybe a little too much, I think.
Yeah, so look at this. Whenever an opponent shuffles his library, you may put a +1/+1 counter on Cozy's Trickster. Very good in combination with all the sack lands in the format, and very, very good with Knight of the Reliquary. So.
Also, fantastic against Green Sun Zenith.
Yes, yes.
Because if you have, I don't know if you've read Green Sun Zenith lately, but we'll go ahead and bring that up for you. So on Green Sun Zenith, it's worded a little funny because it says it makes you shuffle twice.
Oh,
when you resolve it. So it says search your library for a green creature. Extra less. Put it in your battlefield, then shuffle your library, then shuffle Green Sun Zenith into your library. I don't think it's meant to be worded that way.
But you have to, yeah. If I have Cozy's Trickster, I am making you shuffle.
That's a 3/3. That's a 3/3. That's a 3/3 right now. So.
Wow. So yes, Cozy's Trickster could get pretty big against this particular deck.
Yeah. A lot of shuffling that does take place in the old Maverick deck.
Again, if you're Herzog, though, you're probably still most afraid of that True Name Nemesis.
Yeah, of course, of course. That's the one that does matter the most. Herzog is going to untap here. He'll take a draw. You know, the thing he needs to find right now is Stoneforge Mystic, or one of the important pieces of equipment. Probably the most important piece of equipment here is Sword of Fire and Ice.
Yeah, but it looks like he did draw a good one in Mother of Runes. Mother of Runes, I think he's okay with racing because his Knight of the Reliquary is so huge. So giving that Pro Blue, that can actually win the game for him. Let's
There's
see if it
Mom.
resolve. We know Jonathan has a Force Will in his hand. Does he have a blue card to pitch? It doesn't look like
Just an island. Just an island for for Aiken.
Yeah, so Thomas is set up pretty well right here to have a pretty big swing with Knight of the Reliquary. Currently, I believe there's 5 lands in the graveyard, plus the Quasali Pridemage Exalted, plus he's got Windswept Teeth. He could also sack at the end of the turn if he wants to, so it's a pretty big Knight of the Reliquary.
The thing, too, here is, you know, so you see another Cozy's Trickster come into play here for Aiken, is that, you know, a lot of people will play a little bit defensively with Mother of Runes because you don't want anything bad to happen to your creature. I think that Herzog can get super aggressive with it because what's the worst that can happen from a Merfolk deck?
Yeah.
Like, Dismember, sure. You know, that's a card they might play 1 or 2 copies of. Outside of that, the green light is on.
Yeah, I think, yeah, I'm with you. The green light is on. And basically, he has Jonathan on a 2-turn clock here, I believe, based on the number of ways he can get lands in his graveyard. He has a Wasteland, a Windswept Teeth in play, so he could actually grow that Knight of the Reliquary pretty big. He doesn't have to do it right now. I believe if he just attacks for 8 right now, he could probably get it up to 12 next turn. It's a little aggressive, but if you give your creature Pro Blue, I don't think you're afraid of it.
Yeah, what's the worst that can happen?
So yeah, you give it Pro Blue next turn, and then you do all your stuff and see what he has. I mean, it's Merfolk. They don't really have a lot of creature removal. Yeah. That's not what the deck is. So I think if you're Herzog, especially because Jonathan attacked with True Name Nemesis, it basically kind of signals, okay, he knows what your plan is next turn. You might as well just go for it. So I think that's what we're going to see here. I mean, he might not want to grow the Cozy's Tricksters just yet. Which is why I think he might not sack his lands just in case anything tricky happens. But again, the clock still works if he just does just a standard attack now and then goes all in next turn.
Yeah, see 5 lands in the graveyard. Exalted Trigger is 6, and then Knight of the Reliquary's base power toughness is a 2, so that's going to be 8.
Yeah, so that'll be drop Jonathan down to 12, and he just has to be able to pump up for 4 more. Which he could easily do with Windswept Teeth and 2 Wastelands in play.
Yeah, he's got it on the board, actually. He can just Wasteland 2 of his own non-basics. That puts, that puts 4 lands in the graveyard, assuming that he sees that play and wants to make it.
Yeah, he also, I believe, has a Source to Plowshare in his hand. He can choose to cast that and remove it with Deathrite Shaman. So plenty of options here for Thomas. He just needs to make sure that nothing crazy happens on the Aiken side of the board. But again, Merfolk really can't do anything too tremendous in this type of situation. That's not what the deck is built to kind of fight against.
True Name's going to come in again here for Aiken. It's going to put Herzog down to 11. The question now is, Herzog going to go for the W right now? I guess, he does have a Wasteland to take care of the Mutavault, so that doesn't matter too much either. Yeah, so that's actually really good for him here. He still can just Wasteland that Mutavault, and he should be able to win this turn, I believe. So he's going to give Pro Blue first just to make sure. As long as he sees it. Going to give the Knight Pro Blue. In we go. Would you like to activate your Mutavault, good sir? Just
wow.
gonna take it, and I'm not terribly surprised. Like if you're not familiar with the waistline interaction, I can just kill my own stuff.
Yeah.
Like if you've never done that before, that would make sense. And this will give Aiken another turn, presumably, which is a little bit dangerous, but I don't think it's going to come back to hurt Herzog here, simply because I have Aiken's deck list in front of me. There isn't like an equipment that Jonathan can draw. Some versions of Merfolk play like a Jite or something like that. Those cards don't exist here.
Yeah, I think it's, given that it's Merfolk and you kind of can expect that, all right, there's probably not much you can do here. Obviously, Jite would be huge, though. I think if you're Herzog, though, the correct play is clearly just to go for it. Because, again, it is Merfolk and you guys blue-blue. But, again, not really that much of a risk given it's Merfolk. It looks like Thomas is still going to win this game.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly, if I'm working on perfect information, I'm just going to go for it there. You and I, it's very easy for us to say, taking a little more of a conservative approach, or you may not even know about the waistline interaction where he can just blow up his own lands and deal the lethal points of damage. That being said, you see he's got 2 more fetch lands in play, the Winds Up Teeth, now the Verdant Catacombs that he just played. He can activate Mother of Runes, give protection from blue, and then just blow up that Mutavault with the wasteland. So, assuming he wants to take that play, or he can just cast the Swords of Plowshares too as well. Whatever he wants to do, it should be smooth sailing.
Well, he can force this now, so. But he has to have 1 more mana because of Thalia. So as long, it looks like he's pointing it out. So he has to tap the Mutavault to actually cast it. So this is a lot of work that we really needed to be, but.
And you see him point to the Thalia, and that is going to do it. So Thomas Herzog is going to win this game over Jonathan Aiken. Maverick up a game over Merfolk as these players do battle out. So who's going to make the elimination rounds later this evening? We'll take a look at the sideboards. I've got Jonathan's in front of me. Looks like a pretty difficult matchup, but there are 2 Tormod Scripts, a Pithing Needle, 2 Grafdigger's Cage, a Null Rod, 2 Negate, 2 Echoing Truth, 2 copies of Dismember, 2 Thorn of Amethyst, and then a Mindbreak Trap. The only card that really gets me excited here are 2 copies of Dismember. Everything else is kind of whatever. The Pithing Needle can slow down Knight of the Reliquary, Deathrite Shaman. It can also slow down Mother of Runes, but I'm not excited about that. Yeah,
if you're Merfolk, you cannot be happy to have to play against this type of deck. Herzog, in particular, has a lot of good options to bring in. He's got 1 copy of Scavenging Ooze, 1 copy of Kozali Pride Mage. Obviously, they're not backbreaking, but they're good creatures that can kind of break creature stalemates. He also has 1 copy of Choke, which could be quite effective against Merfolk, considering the high volume of islands they have in their deck. He's got 2 copies of Oblivion he can choose to bring in as an additional removal, but probably not worth it. Really, the big card, though, is 2 copies of Zealous Persecution. Not only can Zealous Persecution take out True Name Nemesis, but there are also a lot of cards like Kosi's Trickster, potentially, Curse Catcher, Silvergill Adept. As long as there aren't any Lords in play, you can have a really good Zealous Persecution, possibly get a 2-for-1 or even a 3-for-1. So definitely see Zealous Persecutions coming in as well. So overall, I think Herzog has a pretty good advantage in this particular matchup.
If you are just joining us home, we do appreciate you hanging out with us this evening in round 9 of our Legacy Open here. Osa Libadovich, Cedric Phillips. We got our Legacy Open here in Indy. We already crowned a champion our Standard Open. Big Naya getting the job done there. SCG Live, hashtag SCGINDY for your tweets, as we are 2 weeks away from our Season 2 Invitational. I am completely excited. Are you? So I know you're not going to Providence next weekend. I already made fun of you about that. Are you going to the Invitational?
I am not, because I'm going to Vegas the week after. So I just didn't want to take that much time off of work. But I will be at the Vegas Open. I will be playing both days, and then potentially doing other things at night.
let's say that. Okay, let's play cautious. You are planning on playing both days.
I am planning on playing definitely Saturday.
Okay.
Whether or not I am still alive Sunday morning, that remains to be seen.
Anybody's guess.
It is Vegas.
Anybody's guess, yeah.
Whether I'm not passed out in a ditch somewhere, I don't know.
Now, why would that be the case?
Well, I'm not sure if you're aware of this.
Too much
there
food?
Are pretty good dessert shops in Las Vegas. And I am a huge foodie.
That's true. That's true. I've had dinner with you a time or two.
Yeah, so obviously, I would love to go to Columbus, though. I am queued for a couple of the invitationals. I'm hoping to play in the Somerset Invitational, though, which would be the next invitation after Columbus.
Yeah, that's right in your backyard.
Yeah, so
I figure you'll be at that.
Going to enjoy that one. That was going to be a good time. That was going to be a lot of fun.
Good old Somerset. What was the name of that deli we went to?
Oh, Harold's?
Yeah.
Harold's Deli.
Yeah,
if you come this time, we're going to the city. You're coming early, and we're doing it right.
Okay. Is Harold's doing it wrong?
We're going, consider you can go to Katz, yes.
Okay, fair enough. This place has got quite the reputation. That's all I'm gonna say.
We're going to do it up good. We're going to do it up good.
Harold's was good. It was just Harold's was ridiculous. Like, his cat's ridiculous with the sizing.
No, that's the thing. It's like people like Harold's to take out-of-towners to because of the proportions. Like, it's absurd. It's like more of a novelty than really quality. I mean, the food's good. It's okay. But if you're local, you don't really like going to Harold's because, like, it's just too much food. It's just ridiculous.
An unreasonable amount of food.
It's just an unreasonable amount of food. You just get into the meat sweats, and you just get into, like, you just get really tired.
Yeah. You're just overwhelmed.
Yeah.
The milkshake they brought me was literally the biggest thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
It's so ridiculous how big the portions are there, and you always take food home with you. And I'm a single guy. What do I need a bunch of leftovers in my house for? I'm gonna need a week's worth of pastrami in my house. Come on. So next Somerset Open, you come early, go to New York. It's all good.
All right, Cats it is. Book it. The legendary pastrami's pretty good, so it better be good there. That's all I'm gonna say.
Get all the New York City gamers, have a big debate about which state is the. Apparently, that blew up. That question blew up on Twitter.
That blew up yesterday. Yesterday, for you guys who weren't with us, we had a little discussion about who's the best state in Magic. I guess it wasn't like a defined question, but it was more of just like I wasn't saying. I don't really know what I was saying. Like, is it overall? Is it right now? Whatever.
Yeah, I think you. I mean, basically, I think we agreed that New York, New Jersey have a good claim for that title. Obviously, California has come on strong in recent years, though, with LSV, Josh Adderley, David Shoa, Martell, obviously, plus all the Pacific Coast legends back in the day. So I think, I think California's probably at the top spot. But again, it's a giant state.
The support for Jersey was really something.
Yeah.
Patrick Sullivan was going to battle.
Well, he's going to go to battle regardless.
I do know that.
He loves New Jersey.
I do know that.
He has an unreasonable love for New Jersey. Even people who live in New Jersey don't love New Jersey as much as he lives in San Diego, which is arguably the most perfect place on earth. And he's like, oh, thank God I'm back in New Jersey. I'm like, Pat, there is clearly something wrong with you. I mean, I live in New Jersey. I like New Jersey. I don't love it as much as he loves it.
That's home. That's home. He gushes. He gushes when he's like, I'm going to New Jersey this week.
Home is, and you know what's funny is he grew up in arguably one of the most boring places in New Jersey too. Like he grew up in Hillsborough. Hillsborough is so boring. It's like a bunch of farms. There's nothing to do. All the kids after high school they just hang out at the movie theater. Like there's literally nothing to do in Hillsborough.
Home is where the heart is.
Home is where the heart is.
He loves it there.
He loves it.
He said he would go live there. Like if his job wasn't in San Diego, he said he would live there.
I'll switch places with him if he wants to.
Underway in game number 2 here. A curse catcher for Jonathan Aiken is going to get the show started. Both players keeping their openers. Herzog going to take a draw here. You see a Wasteland. There's also Plains in his hand right now. Also a Stoneforge Mystic. And a Mother of Runes, which does play a huge role in this match. But again, because Aiken does not have a lot of counter magic in his deck, just 4 copies of Force Will along with a counter spell. And then after sideboard, he does have access to a Pithing Needle and 2 copies of Dismember. Mother of Runes is really, really good here.
Yeah, and it looks like he actually has one of the Pithing Needles in his hand. Doesn't need to really cast it right now. Rather just continue to develop his board here. And it looks like he's going to attack in. Obviously, Herzog doesn't want to trade with his Mother of Runes, not knowing about Pithing Needle, obviously. But either way, Thomas does have multiple answers to Pithing Needle in Quasali Pride Mage. So obviously, it's not going to lock it down completely for the rest of the game. There is a potential to get out of it. But either way, pretty good start here for Jonathan. He's got a Lord, a couple creatures in play already. He's got a Pithing Needle also for the Stoneforge Mystic too, potentially.
Looks like it may be time to cast the Stoneforge Mystic. You do see a Gaia's Cradle come into play, and there is the Mystic. So assuming that this does resolve, let's see what equipment Herzog does want to search for. Which ones does he have access to again?
He's got Umazao Zite, Sword of Fire Ice, and Sword of Light and Shadow. He does not have Batterskull in his deck.
Seems like it's a choice between Jite or Fire and Ice in this situation.
Yeah, Fire and Ice is just so good. Yeah, it looks like he's going to go for that. I'd consider Jete because I already have the Mother in play. But yeah, just being able to attack through all those blue creatures and shoot something down, but like a Lord with the other ability. Presumably.
Yeah, because they can get out of range.
Yes.
There are 2 Lords in play.
Yes,
so.
if the Lords get too big, it might not matter. And this turn is going to be pretty interesting because Jonathan has that Pithing Needle. He can play a Lord and Pithing Needle. The question is, what do you name with the Pithing Needle? There's just so many cards you have to be afraid of. Do you name Stoneforge Mystic, Mother Runes? Do you name the Sword of Fire and Ice? I'm not quite sure what you name. We'll get it. He's going to play the Lord first and attack in here.
It's a pretty juicy block on Curse Catcher right now. I don't know if Herzog sees it or not, but he can double block with Stoneforge Mystic, Stoneforge Mystic and Mother Runes on Curse Catcher, and then Curse Catcher has to decide where he wants to deal its damage. Because then if you deal 2 to the Mystic, you get protection from blue, or it deals 1 to the Mother and then 1 to the Mystic, you get protection from blue and Mother, and you don't lose anything.
Yeah, so
Didn't see it though.
Yeah, depending on how Jonathan actually orders the blockers, he can actually keep both his creatures and still kill the Curse Catcher. So, luckily for Jonathan, though, he did not see that play. And now, let's see what we're going to see here. Thomas has access to 4 mana, so he can actually, because of Gaia's Cradle, he can put that sword into play, and he can equip up the Mother Runes if he wants to, but it looks like he's just going to commit 2 Deathrite Shamans into play. And
he's going to unload so his Cradle's better moving forward, I think.
Yeah, but Jonathan does have a Echoing Shrew, so it's going to be interesting to see here. And the thing is, he doesn't know about Pithing Needle, but once the equipment is on the creature already, Pithing Needle really doesn't matter. Like, you can't name Jite.
Yep.
Or you can't name the equipment anymore because it's going to stay on the creature. It's already equipped. But looks like Thomas is going to play multiple creatures here. He plays 2 Deathrite Shamans, and he's going to play the Thalia as well. He's not going to be able to activate the Stoneforge Mystic, though. I guess he just doesn't care because he has so much mana.
There is island number 4 for Aiken. Again, looking at a Needle, an Echoing Truth, another island, and another copy of Master of the Pearl Trident. Things are getting gummed up on the other side of the board, however, and the problem, of course, is that, you know, when your opponent doesn't have islands, or you don't have a card like Spreading Seas, it's difficult for Merfolk to actually push through.
Yeah.
Now, the creatures are getting pretty big, of course. You know, now the Lords are 3/3s. Silvergill Adept is a 4/3. Curse Catcher is a 3/3. So the creatures are starting to get pretty big, and the blockers aren't great here for Herzog. But Herzog can kind of pick and choose about how he wants to go about blocking and stuff like that. And, you know, the Mother of Runes makes it so the creatures are going to live. He can make favorable double and triple blocks as long as he sees them. So there are some real decisions to be made here for Aiken on how he wants to attack, and assuming that Aiken does attack, how Herzog wants to block.
Yeah, I think Herzog's really going to regret not just putting that sword into play, equipping, and killing the Lord right away. Because now, like you said, all the Merfolk are effectively out of range of dying from the Sword of Fire Ice. So he could still race it, obviously.
Absolutely.
He's got a Mother Runes, plus he can keep moving the sword back and forth, depending if Aiken actually plays the Pithing Needle. We're not sure yet, but yeah, this race is going to be pretty interesting because even though Jonathan is ahead, things can swing pretty favorably for Thomas if he's able to connect with equipment or even get a Quasali Pride Mage into play and to deal with the Pithing Needle that Jonathan eventually will have to cast.
Decisions for Aiken. Does he want to leave Echoing Truth up? Maybe try to set a trap? Or does he just want to play the Pithing Needle? I guess the issue here, the Echoing Truth, actually, the trap is just down because Thalia.
Yeah, he played his land for the turn already, so he's not going to be able to actually cast the Echoing Truth anymore because of Thalia. So his best play is probably just Pithing Needle if he wants to cast it now. The question is, do you name Mother Runes? Do you name the sword? I think you have to name sword because you really don't want to have it get equipped, which you have to imagine Thomas is probably going to do.
Yeah, I don't want to have that battle over sword. I just want to shut the sword down.
Yeah.
I mean, Mother of Runes being on is going to be annoying. That's for sure, but I think Sword of Fire Knights is going to be much more annoying. We'll get confirmation on what this Needle is naming in just a moment from our spotter down low, but it looks like creatures are going to be coming into the red zone.
Oh, at this point, I think you have to block and kill a Lord here. I just think you have to. Oh, wow, so he names Mother Runes. So now Thomas, so Pithing Needle names Mother Runes.
That makes me want to jump and block even more now. Now that Mother Runes is named, I want to trade with the Lord so fast so that I can play Sword Equip and shoot down the other Lord.
Yeah, I agree. Now, he can play the sword pretty easily now. He's still going to have access to 5 mana on his turn. So, yeah, I'm with you. Let's just get rid of one of those Lords. The Lord is going to be a 3/3 because it doesn't pump itself. It pumps the other Merfolk. So he can actually block with a Thalia.
He can block with 3 1/2s and only loses 1 creature.
Yeah.
You know?
He could just, he could put Stoneforge and 2 Deathrights in front of a Lord, and he can be okay. But it looks like he doesn't care about his Mother Runes here. Of course, he will lose both creatures, though.
And, you know, there's a very realistic possibility here that Herzog is much more concerned with the other text on Deathrite Shaman, being able to remove creatures, keep his life total high, all of that stuff. So.
But again, like you said, if he blocks in that way, he can only lose one of his creatures. So probably a slight error there. But either way, still in pretty good shape here because he's going to be able to get a sword in play and deal with that other Lord. And then suddenly, Jonathan's army is really, really puny, and he's left with just a Echoing Truth in his hand, which can't actually target anything other than the sword.
Yep. Wasteland comes into play here for Herzog. Looks like he's going to activate the Stoneforge Mystic.
Yeah, so let's see here. He puts that into play. He has 4 mana, and he can tap Gaia's Cradle for 3 mana, rather. And so he won't be able to equip, attack, and then re-equip, I don't think. Yeah, so I think that might have been a slight mistake. I think he had to tap the Gaia's Cradle and the Plains. That would have been 4 mana. He could put into play equip, and then he could have
Wastelands to ship back over.
Exactly, because you want to get it back on another guy to block.
Yep.
So unfortunately, though, he's not going to be able to do it. He just gains some life with Deathrise Shaman, which again is fine. He's going to be. It helps with the race here. He's going to kill a Lord. He's going to draw a card. He's going to go up to 12. So both players are at 12 now, except Thomas's army is a lot more threatening because of that equipment.
He's still doing just fine.
Still doing fine. Aiken has the Pithing Needle naming Mother Runes, which isn't very effective right now. Okay, oh, sorry. So Aiken's actually at 17. But again, that Sword of Fire and Ice is threatening to just completely decimate Aiken's board pretty soon.
See what that card that...
Ooh, Dismember.
Dismember, that's what I thought that was.
So Dismember could actually throw things up too, because now he doesn't have to actually use the Echoing Truth just yet. He can basically, with Dismember and Echoing Truth, he can basically buy himself 2 turns of not getting hit by a Sword of Fire and Ice.
Sword, yeah.
Of course, he's only doing 3 damage, though. And again, he doesn't have the lures anymore, so once those 1/2s are untapped, they're going to be able to block that Curse Catcher and the 2/1. So,
yeah.
That's the real problem. And he needs to draw a Lord real quickly.
Yeah, that or True Name.
Yeah, or True Name.
Those are the best draws right now.
But again, yeah, if he doesn't draw it fast, I'd say probably next turn, because even though he buys himself 2 turns from getting hit, that sword, he doesn't have a permanent answer to sword right now. He can just basically stall.
And this doesn't even take into account that Herzog can draw a card that matters, too.
Exactly, yeah. You're not even factoring in that Herzog can draw even a creature. Like something like a Scavenging Ooze would even be huge here in terms to swinging the race in his favor. So,
3 green. Let's make it 4 with that white. Looks like maybe a Knight's going to come down with a green mana floating. We could see a Deathrite Shaman activation here, potentially. Also, I mean, now the Reliquary is worth killing. That card is very, very good. Even though Knight can't really go crazy, there's only 1 Plains in play.
Yeah, he has 1 Plains in play. Of course, it can get Averting Catacombs, and then all of a sudden it jumps up to a 4/4. But
Deathrite is going to remove that Master. Herzog going to go up to 11, and now going to present a threat here. Deathrite in the red zone with Sword. Would you like to make a move? The answer looks to be a yes. Going to bounce the Sword, it looks like.
Yeah, and this is key here because Thomas...
Actually, this plays way better.
Oh, yes, because it's not targeting the Deathrite Shaman.
Yeah, that plays way better.
So he's not targeting the Deathrite Shaman that actually has a sword on it. So even though the sword gives the Deathrite protection from blue, it doesn't give the other Deathrite. So now both Deathrites will go to his hand, and he could fog for the turn. But again, he's still not dealing with the sword. If I'm Thomas, I probably just re-equip the sword here to one of my creatures. But no, it looks like he's just going to pass. Yeah, I think those are 2 Wastelands, so he can actually... Yeah, so still probably okay, though. He can block. Neither Reliquary can get pretty big if he wants to try to just sack a Wasteland. But he doesn't have any targets, so...
In for 2 we go. A trade is basically being offered up here.
Yeah, I don't think it's worth it. You're at 11. Probably just take 2 here. How big is the Knight? So he's just going to sack Wasteland, targeting Wasteland.
Wasteland his own Wasteland.
Oh, wow. This is going to work out great here. If he blocked first, it's actually not that bad, although Jonathan does have a Dismember, so he can keep his Trickster into play, or his Silvergrill Adept in play, but not sure he wants to necessarily do that.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of interesting, right? Where it's like, you know, he blocks, and then he Wastelands one of his own lands. And so as a result, like, now you're almost forced to Dismember. But at the same time, like, since you're forced to Dismember, that means, okay, fine. Like, if you Dismember my guy, it's like, all right, I'll equip my Jite. Or excuse me, I'll equip my sword and hit you and kill one of your guys and draw cards. So.
Yeah. So either way, I mean, that was the turn where Jonathan really needs to draw a Lord or a True Name or something. So, you know, they're just going to get eaten up right now. Currently, I believe he Wastelanded his own Wasteland, so now the Knight is a 3/3, which is enough to kill the Silvergrill Adept. Jonathan's just debating on what he wants to do here. Looks like he is going to try to cast Dismember here.
He has to take 2 to do so.
Again, it's not that bad, though, because he actually Thomas, I believe, did block first. So Thomas is going to take any damage this turn. And Aiken just plays a Mutavault and passes.
I mean, that can chump block the Stoneforge Mystic that's equipped with a sword.
Well, he has the Wasteland, though. So now he could actually, it depends on what he wants to do. Does he want to just equip Stoneforge? Yeah, so now that he has another land, I'd say with Jonathan having an empty hand, I think you just equip sword, sacrifice Wasteland targeting Mutavault if he tries to block, and then just play a Death Ray for the turn. You draw a card, you hit him for 3, and you kill the Silver Go Adept.
Yeah, and don't forget, like, because he has Canopy in play, he can play, like, he can tap Canopy now for Deathrite, because that generates, it's like your clear on mana.
Yeah.
And then your Cradle can tap for 2, you can equip that way.
Oh, so, yeah, so now he could actually, yeah, he can just equip just with the Cradle. Or he could tap Cradle for 2, put the other Deathrite into play, and then tap the Plains to equip.
And then Wasteland.
And then he spells Wasteland up for the Mutavaults. So, and Jonathan has no cards in his hand, so Thomas has total information. He knows that the road is clear for him. He's just thinking about it right now. Really, no reason for him not to do this.
Yeah, it's pretty smooth sailing. I think like in the last game he was really cautious about what he could do when he had the ability to just Wasteland either himself or Wasteland the Mutavault and stuff like that. But now that the road is pretty clear, let's see what this is going to be. This is going to be a Thalia right now.
All right, so it looks like he's going to just play the Thalia, and now he's going to equip. Unfortunately, he doesn't have Wasteland up anymore, so if Jonathan decides to block with Mutavault, he will be able to.
Yeah, I mean, he has the ability to chump block here. I don't particularly love this line, but again, given how far ahead Herzog is in this game, I don't think it's going to come back to hurt him.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to hurt him. I can't really think of many cards that can stop this now. He's already equipped the creature, so Pithing Needle off the top won't really do anything.
It looks like this may just get through here. Yeah, and the sword trigger is going to shoot down something. So Aiken doesn't even attempt to block with the Mutavault. And Aiken, I chump block with the Mutavault there only because I don't think my Mutavault's going to get any better this game because I'm staring at a Wasteland on the other side of the table.
Yeah, I would have probably snap blocked there. But again, I don't really think it matters that much. Jonathan's kind of drawing very slim here. Not really much you can do about an active Sword of Fire and Ice.
This matchup seems terrible for Merfolk.
Yeah, all the creatures are just, very problematic. And without multiple lords, there's just not much you can do. And without them having islands, that's another problem. So.
And the fact that you can break up multiple lords, like if they draw like a bunch of lords or whatever, it's like, okay, if I draw a swords, I can bust up everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. It seems just like a horrible matchup for them.
So here we see Thomas is going to swing in again. No reason not to attack with Thalia too, but it looks like he's just going to attack with Stoneforge Mystic, content with just winning with that alone. Again, Mutavault does not block. Probably see Curse Catcher, or maybe just go after Jonathan at this point.
Yeah.
Curse Catcher is not irrelevant.
Oh, Jite. The world is Mr. Herzog's oyster right now.
So Aiken's at 7 now. Yep. So Deathrite comes down now. Are there any instants or spells in the graveyard? I don't think so. It looks like, there's a Dismember.
Dismember over there. I think there's an Echoing Truth in the bin as well.
So that can drop him to 5, and then the Stoneforge attack plus the sort of Fire and Ice damage should finish him off next turn.
There's another Reliquary. Does Blue have a Wrath?
Not that I know of.
No?
It does have Cyclonic Rift, although I doubt Jonathan is playing that card. He is 1 mana off from Cyclonic Rift Overload.
Excuse me, there's a Thalia in play.
Oh, I apologize.
Okay.
Oh, Thalia. That Thalia.
Blows up that plan. That plan's right gone. Oh, Upheaval.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, the only thing that Jonathan has to do to get out of this is play a land and cast Upheaval. And then his opponent goes, that's right, go.
Look, we have outs.
That is an out, yeah.
We do have outs. I don't think it's a realistic one for multiple reasons, but we do have outs. Herzog just going to pass the turn back here. The writing is on the wall, unfortunately, for Jonathan Aiken, as there is a Wasteland that's going to take down that Mutavault.
There goes that theoretical Upheaval plan.
Yeah, that's gone now, too. Thanks a lot, Thalia. Aiken going to draw his card. He's going to play his 6th out of the game, and he's going to extend the hand. Thomas Herzog is going to be playing the elimination rounds with Maverick later this evening. Defeats Jonathan Aiken 2-0. Maverick moves on to 7-1-1, and assuming everything does break accordingly, he should be into the top 8, as now the